Hi there, I've been asked by a friend to, well actually by Kevin, the hairiest member of our goblin troupe, to show you guys my Inktobers for the last few years. I've managed to find most of my 2017 Inktobers, but they're just numbered, so I'm not entirely sure what they're called, which is a bit naughty because my first year was a bit last minute. So anyway, I'll go through them and you see what you think. I can probably guess what the theme or what the prompt was for each one, because I always use the official Inktober prompts, so it wouldn't be too difficult to find out. I just haven't. Right, so this is the first one I did. So the very first Inktober was a ballpoint pen, so black ballpoint pen in this case. And as you can see, there's a bit of cross hatching, a bit of scribbling, and it's kind of an abstracty looking thing. I'm not entirely sure what the prompt was for this one, I'll be honest. But as you can see, you can see, if you've seen any of my other videos, you can see where I've used those techniques to do this. It's quite fun, this one. It's kind of organic, a bit, yeah, a bit weird. And I quite often use this sort of technique for making monsters, so all these bulgy bits and the spikes and things like that. It's got a sort of slightly monster plant kind of feel there. So that's that one. Put that one down so I remember which order they're in. This one is number 3, so number 2's gone missing. I'm not sure what that is, but as you can see, it's a little poison frog, so I think it must have been poisonous, the prompt for this one. But you can see I've used, for this one, I've used some cheap, so I've basically done an outline with ballpoint pen, and you can see the scribble marks. Can you see some of the scribble marks here, like around the eye and what have you? And then I've used alcohol ink pens, so sort of cheap knockoff. They're not knockoff Copics, but they are versions of that kind of pen. They're a lot cheaper that I got online. But you can see I've actually tried to blend them in so they look a lot more like watercolours, because that's an effect you can quite often get with these alcohol markers. I quite like that one, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what I would use it for, or how I would sort of, because there's a couple in this set. There's a couple in this set that I use to make cards. So that's number 3. There you go, Inktober 2017. This one goes this way up, so you can see there's like, you've got the surface of something here, and then maybe some kind of monster, maybe some sort of Loch Nessy monster type creature. I think this was not a Leoplorodon, which is a kind of sea dinosaur, but it was definitely based along those lines. If you see the massive teeth and the huge head. If you look up Leoplorodon, it's a pretty cool. If you've seen Jurassic World, it's the big dinosaur that jumps out and eats the shark. So if you've seen that, you know. And this was number 4, so 3, 4. I think, if I remember correctly, the prompt for this one was monstrous or hidden. I'm not entirely sure. Something along those lines. This one, I think this one was flow. The prompt for this one was flow, and that's day 5 of Inktober. I did do all the Inktobers, but as I say, some of them have not disappeared. They have been subsumed into the mess in our house. But yeah, so I've got, what I've done here is, again, it's mainly the alcohol inks, alcohol marker, but I've actually used white ballpoint pen to do highlights and things. So around, can you see that? Can you see there? There's like a line, and I've just smudged it while it's still wet, so it makes it the idea is that it's supposed to fade off into the distance. So this is white ballpoint pen. I tend to use the Mitsubishi, I don't know what they're called, Mitsubishi Jelly Roll pens for that, because they're really good for that sort of thing. They have really nice opaque whiteness to them, so they're really nice to use. There's that one. This one, I'm guessing this one was called Sacrifice. So not a particularly good picture, I'm afraid. This was number 6, day 6. So it's kind of, it's a bit silly. I mean, look at this knife. What's that going to do to anyone? It's ridiculous. But you know, you've got the dark hooded figure, and as you can see, I fudged the hands. I can do hands, I just prefer not to because they're hard. Which, yeah, is a thing. So yeah, so that's Sacrifice again. That's got the ball pen and alcohol marker. Again, trying to get a sort of watercolory look to that. It's quite a fun thing to do. I think the black is actually, I don't think that's alcohol marker. I think that's something else, but it's probably maybe Sharpie or something like that. Yeah, number 6 there. And this one is number 7. I think, I have no idea, I can't remember what the prompt was, but I'm guessing that these two appendages here holding on to one another is important. So maybe it's holding hands or connection or something along those lines. I can't remember. I should find out, but I'm doing this off the cuff today, so wish me luck. But yeah, so again, you've got alcohol markers, but you can see these really, you can get some really nice qualities with these markers. So where you've got this like weird fade into it, and then you've got this one as well. Then you've got the ballpoint pen there, and then you can see where I've used the white to outline it, and it gives it a nice, slightly graphic look to it. Graphical, just makes it pop a little bit more. Yeah, so that's number 7. I feel like these are two little weird characters. I find them cute, but that's just me. They're a bit weird. This one, I think this one may have been tree or web. There's definitely something that's half tree-like, half nest-like. It's like a, yeah. So I've used a marker pen, black marker pen here, and then the rest is again ballpoint pen. So what I didn't do on the first one is make any rules for myself. You'll find that in my 2018, this is 2017. In my 2018 one, I made rules for myself so that I had more of a, well, not more of a challenge, but just to make it a bit more interesting, just to add something in so that there was a sort of pattern to the days. Well, there you go. I quite like these. I do like these sort of marks here because it makes them look all bulgy, and I don't know. I definitely like these sort of techniques for the organic look there. Now the next one, this one's made with fine liners. So you can see, I think, so that one's not, the one, previous one was number 8, this one's number 9. As you can see, if I turn it the right way up. But yeah, this one was crow or squawk or something like that. But I just had this image of all these birds. Well, I have this thing where if I wake up during the dawn chorus, I call it bird screaming time because I'm not a big fan of being screamed at by birds. But yeah, so there's all these beaks and mouths, and it's a combination of a nest full of birds and just the image of lots of birds screaming at the same time. So yeah, my mind is a strange place sometimes. This one, I think This one was like sun or something. It was like a really odd, like, not odd, but it was a strange sort of prompt, because I don't think it's necessarily what you would think of when you see this, but this is basically a sun in the background here, and then you've got a station, and I made the mistake of not using any templates or anything, so this is all hand done, and you can see it's slightly skewish, but I kind of like it because it looks like it's been bodged together, and they put repairs and what have you on it. If I just bring it a bit further forward and just, can I focus on it? Can I focus on it? See if I can focus on it. Is that fairly focused? That's not too bad there, so you can see all the little bits and bobs there where it's been bodged together. I quite like this one. Excuse my nails. I was doing painting the other day, and you know how it can be, it stains. Yeah, so then again it's a combination of alcohol markers and ballpoint pen. Just very simply done, quite quickly done as well. Though I do quite like all the little details. Now here's a scary one. Oh, let's get that focusing bit down. There we go. There we go. So this one's a friendly chap. I don't know what this was, maybe Cry or something like that. So that's number 11, the previous one was number 10. The backs are almost as interesting as the fronts, to be honest. Definitely as disturbing. But yeah, so there's that. And same as last time, alcohol markers, black ballpoint pen, and then white jelly roll gel pen, just to get those little details. But yeah, I put the jelly roll on and then tended to wipe it off because I wanted it to lighten it rather than actually make a white line. This one I use as a greetings card, for a pattern for a greetings card. I'm not entirely sure why I've decided that, but if I remember correctly, I think it was crack or broken or something like that. So that's number 12 of Inktober 2017. So there you go. See if I can get it in focus properly. There you go. That one I did use a ruler for because I wanted it to look sort of almost like a digital crack, like a break in a, but also when you have glass breakages they tend to go in almost like crystalline structures. You can see this, you know, it's a very simple design. This one again is one I use quite a lot for cards, so I did so this one again is it's exclusively black ballpoint. It took me a little while to do it, obviously. There's a lot of minion-like characters there. And number 13, unlucky for some. And yes, so there's a lot of them in there. But I do a colourised one, and I do a plain black and white one. And also I do a dad's card, Father's Day card with this one, because I quite like doing these little really basic, almost like if you like Pokemon, like Diglets or that sort of thing. So that's one of my faves, I have to admit. That is one of the ones I like. I like that some of them have got little black eyes as well. The coloured one's quite cute because it's got some really, it's got only a few different colours on, but it's quite an effective one. I colorised it in Photoshop, obviously, but this is purely hand done from the artist. The sweat of my brow. This one, if you don't like gory stuff, look away now. Try and turn it the right way up. So this one was called Teeth, and the idea was to make something look kind of cute but also kind of disgusting. I'm not entirely sure. As you can see, I've got a vaguely hand-shaped thing here, and it's kind of gross. I'm not sure it's a cross between, I don't know, it's kind of dog-like but kind of lizard-like but chameleon-y and just generally odd. Like, look at this thing. Yeah, look at this thing. I don't know what you would call that. But that's, again, that's a combination of alcohol markers and ballpoint pen. I don't know why I keep forgetting what they're called, but I keep doing that. Right, and that was number 14. Which is weird, because number 13 is quite cute. But that would definitely be unlucky for someone. Okay, this one. Have I got it the right way up? Have I got it the right way up? Number 15. It's hair. Lots and lots of hair. And also, if you look at it carefully, that's also Pan Pride colours. So, quite a nice groovy thing. I have used this one. Have I used this one in a card? I think I made a one-off card for someone with this design on it. What I do is I scan them in and adjust the colours in Photoshop just to sort of make sure they work when they print out. Print them out on 5x7s, 5x7 cards, and adjust any, like this line here, which really bugs me. Because I got a really nice smooth line, and then when I went over it with a slightly thicker pen, I don't know what I did there. I just obviously lost the plot at that point. But yeah, so lots and lots and lots of hair. Oh, this one. Have I got it right? Which round is that? So 16. That one was flesh. That's a really nice one there. In a sort of disgusting kind of way. It was flesh or bulge or something like that. But it was that sort of thing. And the idea was to make that look as fleshy and gross as possible. Because, heck, why not? So, also, I think we'd been out quite, I'd come home and we'd been out, and that, there's toys you get that you squeeze them and all the bits come out. And they're like bulgy bits. That was on my mind for some reason. Don't ask, I don't know. Oh, this one's crap. This one's terrible. 17. It's basically two weird flowery things. I have no idea what the prompt was. I have no idea what I was trying to go with it. It's got a bit of a sparkle on it, whereas, because it was that bad, I thought, hey, let's put some glitter on it. That won't make it any worse. So you can see there. Just makes it look like it's got a snail trail. But yeah. But, someone will love it. Or not. Oh, this one. This one. Number 18. I think this one was messy or muddy, something along those sort of lines. And basically, I'm imagining if you've ever seen Spirited Away, there's a creature that comes in that's just got a big ball of gunk and it smells and it's horrible. And I just wondered if a human being just covered in mud, and so you see there's like the shoes down there, and there's like the face trying to look out there, even a little twig poking out. Just imagine if you were completely covered and there's a little clenched fist there. Can you see the clenched fist there? It's just like, covered in mud. And, so that was that. There is some thinking behind all of these, but not necessarily a massive amount. This one, I'm trying to think what that was. May have been Kraken or something like that. So the idea of this one is to be fairly subtle. So you've got the gradient here of colour, but if you look, let me see if I can get this focused in on this. You see the little boats there? But underneath the little boats, there's this very subtle, giant octopusy type thing. And it was, I think the prompt was Kraken or something along those lines. You can see, are these boats safe? Are they far enough away? Is this just a mirage, a reflection on the water that happens to look like this big scary monster? Who knows? This one, I quite like this one. Oh, sorry. Refocus. There we go. This is kind of, yeah, it's kind of Godzilla attacks Tokyo type thing, but it's not Godzilla or Tokyo. I do quite like drawing skyscrapers and perspective lines. Words are hard. And just drawing these horrible, bulgy, squishy monsters. So this is, this one is actually all fine liners, so even the cross-hatching here is like 0.05 fine line, so very, very thin. You can see, so I can bring it up close so you can see him in all his sketchy glory. So you can see those are actually all very fine lines. They're not ballpoint pen, because the difference you can see with ballpoint pen tends to dig into the paper, whereas these, you can see the paper stays flat. There aren't like ridges in the paper, which is quite nice if you're taking scans. Sometimes the scans pick up the ridges and make them look make the ballpoint ink look shiny. Whereas this will be a nice black and white image and scans really well. You can see him. And then just brush pen for the black. So basically I had a set with fine line pens that went from 0.05 up to I think 8. 0.8. And I've tried to put like a little stained window so that you know that there's a little church there. God has abandoned us. Let's get this back down to here. There we go. That one was number 21. 21. This one is Path. I think it's Path. That makes sense for that picture. 22. But as you can see, they're wandering off into the distance, looking fairly sort of a little I think that's a lantern. I don't know, it's a really weird sandwich. I don't know. Wandering off into the forest with their stick and what have you. But you can see in the forest behind them all their little eyes. They're being watched at all times. Often when I do these sort of things, I quite like the idea of making these things sweet, but I also kind of like making them creepy as well. So you got a bit of both there. I don't know if you want to have a look at these little boys. So you can see. So it's very much just a very plain, basic figure walking out of the forest or walking through a forest into maybe a clearing or the end of the path. But there are all these things watching. Okay. This one. I'll brown down. Squash. He's upside down, isn't he? Okay. Wake up. Squash. So you can see. It's a squashed orange or satsuma or something. Hit it with a hammer. I've made the hammer slightly wrong, but again, I didn't use any templates or rulers with this one, which is perhaps a mistake. But it was copied from an actual hammer, so, you know, I tried. An attempt was made. But as you can see, just keeping it really simple. That one, because that was quite a quick one. I had to do that one quite quickly. That was 23. Oh, yeah, I think this, I can't remember what this one was. Window or something? And I just, so that was 24. And the trailer for It had just come out. The new It had just come out, so I'm afraid you got an obligatory red balloon there, because you can't have it all like calm and nice. So you got the outside world, you got your shade, and then you got what's going on outside. What's this one? Hurry up, is it? What's the point? That way up. That way up. That way up. Ta-da! I think this may have been dream or reflection. So basically the idea, this guy's fishing, but what he's in his head, he's a pirate captain with his ship and what have you. I don't know if it's a guy or not, it could be a girl. It's hard to tell. Doesn't really matter. This person is doing their fishing, but this is what they're imagining, what they believe, what their inside self is feeling. Again, that one is fine liners, not ballpoint pen. Oh, and this one, unsurprisingly, 26, the prompt was squeak, which I always wanted to make into like a card or some sort of art print or something, but I never really understood. I never knew how I could. But I really like this one because it's so gross. Squeak. But yeah, so big cat. Squash. Crunch, 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 crunch. I like that one. Can't tell, can you? This one I don't like so much. It's a bit twee. This is 27. 27. I'm assuming it is tree or autumn or fall or something like that. Wind maybe blow. I don't know. There's green, there's brown. I obviously didn't care very much, which is really bad. Or really good, depending how you think of these things. But yes, this was not... Yeah, I have no feelings about this. You can tell. You can really tell that I had no feelings about this. It's just like, yeah, a thing. Way. But I did it, and that's the important thing. The thing with Inktober is that you just do the things, and you'll find that some prompts fill you with inspiration, some don't, but it gets you into the mood, and it gets you in the habit of drawing every day. Some days it's a chore, but it is still worth doing. Always. This must have been a rainbow. 28. No, I can't say that. Yeah, so the idea is that this is such a high, like out here, not rain, there's a waterfall, and the waterfall's so high that it just turns to mist before it hits the ground. It was a crap idea, but I quite enjoyed it. It's quite colourful, it's fun. I quite like the rocks. It was a thought. It was a sweet thought. Lots of white pen here. Trying to make it look more misty. I'm not sure it works, but it's fun. I enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed doing it. Like all artists, I like all artists have that thing where I do I do an art, and the minute I finish the art, I'm like, it's just crap. But it doesn't matter. It's doing the art that's an important thing. This one can't remember what the thing was for this one. I quite like this one, colour-wise. 29. So it's sort of like they're holding on to each other. I like this. I really got a really nice effect with the alcohol markers. Was really happy with that. Just nice and makes them look almost translucent. So I was very happy with this one. So even though it's not necessarily an obvious thing, it's quite satisfying. I like the fact that I managed to get the sort of pinky purple and the green together. I quite like that as a colour combo. Don't know if you can see okay there. I hope you can. There you go. This one. Oh, upside down. Ta-da! 30. So we're not almost done for this year. Not this year. For 2017. Anyway. So yeah. So that one I think was dead. Or something like that. Dead or buried. Or it was something a bit dark. So just... yeah. So as you can see, that one was, yeah, so that's fine liner again, an alcohol marker and white gel pen. But it's just adding that white line just adds this, I just feel that it really makes it pop a bit. And there's a nice shade of like greeny blue there as well. As you can see, I can kind of do fingers. It's a hand. It's recognisably a hand arm thing. I may have done... kind of looks like he has extra fingers hidden somewhere, but... psh. So yeah, anyway. So that was quite a nice one. I like that. This one, 31, was Mask. Now... oh, hello, what's happened here? The light's gone a bit funny. There we go. So yeah, Mask. Barbin. Oh, I don't know. It's just been weird. It's just being weird, man. I think he's having trouble picking it because this one's got sparkles on as well. I'll show you there. See, there's sparkle on that. Just a little bit of sparkle, just there. Because I think this was not long after we'd seen Doctor Strange. And I quite like the effect that the bad guys had with the eyes that just had the sparkle and weird stuff on them. So I had that in my head. Or we may have rewatched Doctor Strange or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, so the idea is it's a mask and it's sort of semi-Medusa-y type woman there. I've given her like tentacle fingers for all of you who like that sort of thing. I do quite enjoy doing like bulging and tentacly looking stuff. It pleases me strangely. You see? You see that? The idea is it's supposed to look not necessarily scary, but just a little bit uncanny. There we go. And that's 2017, all the ones I still have. I hope you enjoyed that. And I will, if you are interested, well, as I say, what you want to do is like and subscribe and click on your notifications and stuff, and leave a comment down below. See if you want to see some more years. I have a couple more years, obviously. This is 2017. I have 2018 and 2019. Eventually, I have 2020 if we survive that long. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching, and I will see you with the next videos.